Good morning. Hope you're doing well. This is a middle video, just in between like this one and the next one that's going to come out. Just because I had some things on my mind I was just thinking about. The next video you'll see that it's basically about, oh yeah, it's for tomorrow, isn't it? That one is basically about a situation which I've just realised about my project management course. So that's quite fun, but actually I'm kind of doing okay on it, which is alright. And then the video after that will be then about Bruce Lee and this kind of new concept which I'm trying to develop, which I'm calling like lived philosophy, which, you know, for as long as there's been philosophy around, there's been people talking about philosophy, because, you know, philosophy is people talking about like beliefs and experiences and ideas and trying to make sense of the world. Like, that is what philosophy is. So people talking about it, that there's always had to have been some kind of correlation between them talking about it and them also talking about their and also people seeing their lives. And I think it's a thing that needs to be pointed out, because it's something that in academia isn't really spoken as much about. But that's something I'm going to be developing. So I have a short video on Bruce Lee, just talking about how he, through his lived philosophy of not just like saying these things but carrying them out in actions as well, really quite inspired me. But I was just going to make this video for in the middle, because I'm following basically what Hamza said, with the advice of just putting out like at least one video per week, maybe 2 or 3 if you can. At the moment I'm going to stick to just one, because I can like progressively get better at it. But yeah, I'm only setting myself like one thing, like one video to do a week because of that. And so as a result of that, I've recorded a couple of videos, and so I've even got like videos up to the 13th or something now. So the next video I need to record will be for the 13th of January, and we're on the 29th of December. So I'm quite I'm fairly ahead, and I've already came up with like 2 ideas for videos that I'll do in the future. So I may even record them like say later on today, or I might even record them like, you know, like a couple of days time or something. And as that's 2, that would bring me then to like into like the end of the first week of February or something. So it's quite funny. I might eventually just double up to 2, but it's all part of a whole system that I want to develop and come up with. But I'll talk about that in another video. With this one, however, I did just want to talk about 2 more things that I've been thinking about. And they're kind of related to each other, really. Because the first one is about how I've been watching a lot of these videos that Hamza does, and he's been trying to do like daily uploads. And it seems that he doesn't, you know, I'm watching them and like dedicating a lot of time to them because I think I find a lot of value in them. And it's interesting just to see like another person in the world who's under different conditions. For instance, you know, he's got all the like somewhat money he needs, and he's got like the status he needs, and he's got good health, and yet he's still finding things that he finds uncomfortable about life. And so it's just interesting also to just get that insight from someone else like that. To see, you know, just learn about tips and stuff. But I think one of the things, if I only had to give him like some kind of criticism, which I can understand why he maybe necessarily couldn't take up the criticism, is that he has to, or at least at the very least he says things with a lot of conviction, but it means that if he hasn't fully thought through an idea, then it's like he's not providing a total understanding, and he's said these things before. He's had his own kind of doubts, and like he's spoken about this before, about how he changes his mind, and he's presented in such a way that it's understandable. But I think because of the nature of his work, he has to say things with conviction, and because of trying to like upload a new video every single day, it means he can't necessarily give himself the time and like literally like the years or months to necessarily think over certain things for long enough to provide a coherent understanding or like a coherent explanation towards things, because so many of these things just take years to understand. And if you're uploading a new video every single day, we have to talk about a concept and you have to try and persuade everyone to do it. You can't exactly like sit around going, well, I've partly thought through this idea, but I'm not quite sure. You have to say things with conviction. So that's another thing. I don't think that this channel is necessarily going to be one where I'm very convictional about things. Whenever I'm journaling, I always write like, perhaps this, perhaps that, and I enjoy that because that's kind of how you make sense of things. I don't think that you can really sit around saying like, yeah, I think it's this, and then like kind of just fully absorb yourself in that. You don't really know that you haven't had enough days to think about it, at least in my opinion. So, or at least the way I orientate myself in the world, I think to myself, well, perhaps it's this. It could be this, or it could not be. And so, I think that's a reason why I would present my work in this way as well. The second thing is that I wrote down just on like some notes. I'm just reading through it now. Yeah, so it might mean, for instance, that my videos, because I found myself being like, oh, what should I upload next? What should I upload next? Even though it's like in 2 weeks and stuff. But my videos won't always then be about like trying to, perfect, like, or say like, this is this one bit of information that will change your life. It's like just little things I've noticed about my own life and things that have helped me out. And it's always just time sensitive to that moment. So, and it's like how people give it health advice on the internet. They could go about it by saying, hey, this thing is completely the best way to do things, and there's no other way that's like better than this. Or they can go, well, I've recently had this issue and I tried this thing and it worked in this way, but that could just be me. You can give it a go if you think so. And I think like that is so much more of a helpful way of actually doing things, because it really puts out that like these things are so time sensitive and person sensitive and space sensitive, that trying to say that you can have some kind of totalizing view of the world, like it's always going to set you up for failure. If you say, oh, this exercise is always going to do this kind of thing to you, then you're setting yourself up for a failure. You're setting yourself up for a situation where someone goes, well, I tried that exercise and it didn't work. But if you go, I just tried this exercise and it may just be only today that it's worked, but it's really worked actually. Or you can even say, I've been doing this exercise for actually a year now and I think it really is working for me. And then you go, but that could just be for me. Like that kind of way of approaching things, no one can deny that. They can't go, it doesn't work for you because you're the one that's just speaking it. It's actually much more of a truthful and much more of a kind of a statement which can like solidify, that can be solidified and can be trusted. And unfortunately, obviously, we just see too much of in my opinion, we see too much of the, yeah, this is objectively this way, this is completely this way. And I think that is, it's outdated for our modern times, and it only survives because people want more of that certainty. But arguably, we maybe shouldn't have as much of that certainty. Now I say that, but obviously, like, it's understandable that some people out there will be like, they'll be frustrated at the world, they'll want to solve a problem. And if they can hear from someone that this thing works for certain, they're going to go for it. I mean, I think that when I've taken advice previously from people, I haven't really searched for the people that are going, oh, well, perhaps this is it. Like, if you're in a desperate situation, you're wanting someone to be secure. But, so, it's understandable that people try and advertise these things this way. But I just don't want to do that, so I just won't, because that just isn't, I don't think that's the best way that we should do things. So a lot of my videos will be this kind of, I've been experimenting with this thing, and I think that this has been helpful in this way, but that's only me, and it's only me in my position, so it may not work for you. But if you want to give it a try, give it a try. And I personally think that's probably just a better way that, on the whole, most people can, and in most situations, people can do things. Doesn't mean it's all situations, but it means that, it's probably something that can be helpful most of the time for most people. And I guess just the last point is again, that these things take years to like learn and grow in. And so, just as a side note, for instance, yesterday I was feeling really down, and I didn't understand why, and Pra was feeling really down, and we were both in this state where we just didn't have any energy, we just weren't wanting to be social, and I spent like about half an hour journaling, trying to work it out, and I just couldn't work it out. But it's through expecting there to be a tomorrow, and expecting you to be able to endure right now, that makes you then realise that, like, it's okay, like, we'll get through this thing, and then at some point we'll learn something about it. Not usually, a lot sooner than you think it will be. So yeah, just as another personal piece of advice, I think that's what I would say. If you're feeling you're in kind of position where you're confused about something right now, and if you're feeling like it's time sensitive, which is even the worst thing, don't worry, you can get through it. And there is always an opportunity to reset something or change something, or not necessarily retrieve what was once there, but there's always a new chance to start something new that's very similar. The way of the Tao is to return. So yeah, and that's just a midway segment between the video next week and then the video after next week, which is shot in a terrible camera angle. I apologise. And yeah, and I hope that will explain the direction that I think I want to take these videos in as well. It's just that sense of, like, it's experimentation. It's about writing in your diary, perhaps. It's about not necessarily having to, say that certain things are for definite that way, but it is still to say that some things, like, still to put things out there that could be helpful. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow, quite literally for you guys, and even though I record on a day that's not Monday, just pretend it's a Monday. And yeah, for all future recordings, even if I don't do them on Mondays, I'll pretend that it's a Monday, just because it's be nice for you guys, because yeah, like that. See ya.